is an India Today Global exclusive. I'm being joined by none other than the Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris. Or not? Is it Estee Palti? Estee, thank you so much for joining us here on India Today Global. We've seen many people impersonating or doing impressions of leaders, but none like you. You've nailed Kamala Harris metaphorically as well as literally so in terms of how you take her on everything that she does. But let's begin with a few things that have happened recently, and then we'll go to exactly what Kamala does and how she reacts. But whatever you say, ST, you have to do it in Kamala Harris's way. Let's begin with the cackle, the inimitable cackle of Kamala Harris, which you certainly have been able to imitate.
Thank you.
Can we
Sorry,
hear,
I can't hear you.
can we hear the cackle as well?
I can't just cackle unless you say something really funny
Okay.
or really dangerous. But yeah, I can cackle to anything, honestly. I think this whole thing is a joke.
Well,
Just like I am.
I've been tracking you. You can actually cackle at anything. I can say Kamala Harris and you'll cackle. That's superb. That's just superb. Okay, let's just get down to it. A lot has happened in the recent past. Let's begin with the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. How does that now look for the Democrats as also for the Republicans um, in terms of the campaign itself? We're looking at somebody who's coming out stronger, more defiant. And on the other side, we're looking at a Joe Harris combine who don't seem to have their house in order.
I'll tell you something about the assassination attempt. All right. First of all, I don't know that he was supposed to survive that, right? But now that he has, we're in a little bit of trouble. Joe Biden is in a lot of trouble, but I'm hoping he drops out and I take my chance.
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing.
Well, Greta, we need to unburden what has been, right? They attempted to take him out, and I'm going crazy. This man seems to get stronger with every single thing that we throw at him, all right? Indictments didn't work, okay? They didn't unburden what has been. Going after his kids, useless. I mean, anything you do to this guy, he just gets stronger and stronger. He's like a virus.
Okay, for our viewers, for the benefit of our viewers, we'll just play out what you mean by this unburden has been, what can be unburdened by what has been, and how this has been a broken record for Kamala Harris for some time now. So just take a look at this and we come back to ST.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been,
What can be unburdened by what has been.
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 Okay, ST, so that was Kamala Harris for our viewers. But coming back to the real Kamala Harris in the room, we've seen President Biden really not be himself. There are a lot of questions that are being asked of whether if he should step down or not. What do you think that this president should be doing to ensure that the Democrats have a fighting chance or even a chance at a win?
He needs to just step down and let me take over, okay? Nobody burdens and unburdens like I do. At first, when he came into office and I wasn't changing his diaper that much. Now it's a full-time job. I didn't sign up for this, okay? So I need to take over so we can, as a nation, as a world, unburden what has been.
Okay. You have spoken a lot about how you know best when it comes to border and that you've been to the border. So, how many times have you really been to the border?
As many times as I've been to Europe.
It has to be in context, and we'll give that context out to our viewers as well. But what advice do you have for young leaders across America?
You just must always remember to unburden what has been.
Okay, what would you say to a Trump supporter in this moment?
We have to see what can be. And, we have to be what we can't see in order to unburden what has been.
I'm sorry. Okay, what is something you can't live without?
My knees.
Okay, for our viewers, for the benefit of our viewers, would you like to expand on what you just said?
I would like to unburden what has been. That's my favorite thing to do in the entire world. And if anyone needs to understand my purpose in this administration, it is to once again, say it with me,
Unburden.
unburden what has been.
Okay, what is your message to all of the world watching you right now? And this is important. You could actually be campaigning in no time for the very coveted seat of the president.
I think the world needs to be ready for the fact that no matter how much of a mess we are, we need to come and be united. Joe Biden had his chance. And if anybody wants to be unburdened, they know who to call.
Okay. Estee Palti, thank you so much for this. But I have to, before I let you go, talk about you. How did you come up with this? How did you start a Kamala Harris? I mean, why? Why would you even think of doing this to yourself?
I know. It's been an interesting 4 years. So, I'm not in the comedy realm, or at least I wasn't before this, but I started making, TikToks during COVID. And one time I tried out my hand at the impression, and I feel so passionately about what's happening in the world. And I feel that genuinely they should be exposed. And there's no greater way to expose these people than through the portal of comedy. So I've just been taking the opportunities as they've come to me. I fully believe that everything she says, I'm saying it verbatim. I'm not even trying to make fun of them at this point. I'm just showcasing their ridiculousness. And it's very telling that, somebody that's not even in the comedy world, on the comedy stage, can have so many people globally resonate because they feel the exact same way. This is one of the greatest countries in the world, if not the greatest country in the world. And that's what we have leading us. So we need to expose it for what it is, because there are genuinely better options.
And what did your family think about this? When they first, what was the reaction when they first heard you cackle like Kamala Harris?
I mean, everyone just started saying, oh my God, you have it down exactly like her. And as the time went on, I just got better and better at the impression. And she's been saying unburden what has been since day one. And nobody in America, much less the world, still understands what she's trying to say. But she loves saying that. She says that in every speech. You tell her to say it, she will say it 20 times. And we all find it hilarious because it started to, it became officially her thing. And, I'm just having a good time with it. We'll see where it takes me.
Okay, in a very Kamala Harris way, if you were to appeal to people to vote for whoever you think they should be voting for, how would you do it?
You have to sit down and you have to look at all the options. Okay. And you have to see if you can really genuinely see what can be in the future. And if it can be unburdened by what has been. Vote for Trump 2024.
Estee Palti, thank you so much for joining us here on India Today Global. Indeed, a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.